Tonight, Joe Biden makes it official and sets the stage for a rematch with Donald Trump.
Now we just got to keep it going. Finish the job.
The U.S. president launches his bid for 4 more years. Why his pitch to Americans matters here. Hundreds of Canadians trapped in Sudan wait to be rescued.
I haven't been able to leave the island.
And remembering Harry Belafonte. Award-winning singer, actor, and civil rights champion.
I do not find it easy to divorce myself from my personal beliefs.
This is The National with Ian Hannamansing.
U.S. President Joe Biden is asking American voters for 4 more years. Tonight, he's officially running for re-election in 2024, setting up a potential rematch with the man he beat last time. Biden framed that bitter 2020 contest with Donald Trump as a battle for the soul of the nation. Now he's promising to, quote, finish the job. But at 80 years old, some voters worry he's too old for that job. And while he's still not officially on the ballot, it didn't take long for Donald Trump to fire back after Biden made it official. As Katie Simpson tells us, that could be a preview of the campaign ahead.
The room filled with the kind of energy the Biden team hopes it can maintain. A friendly audience hyping up the president for the launch of a grueling 19-month-long re-election campaign.
Now we just got to keep it going. Finish the job. We just remember who we are. We are the United States of America.
Joe Biden is pitching himself as a leader with a proven track record, but also,
and this is our moment,
as a reasonable alternative to any Republican challenger. His first campaign video highlighting the January 6th attack, labeling Donald Trump and his supporters as MAGA extremists. A contrast the Biden team will rely on, since analysts say it helped in 2020 and in the midterms.
They're going to do what Biden has always said he wanted voters to do. Don't compare him to the almighty, compare him to the alternative. And the Republicans, he hopes, will end up nominating an alternative who's unacceptable.
Trump is the leading Republican contender, setting the stage for a bitter rematch with vicious attack.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in just a few short years.
A fight over Trump could be a helpful distraction for Biden, as voters raise concerns about the president's age and health.
I do believe that he's up to the task, and that is something that we just cannot pretend is not on people's minds.
Voters are mixed on whether Biden's up to the task.
I don't think he needs to run. I think he's way too old.
I'm getting to be close to 50 myself and slowing down a bit, so I can only imagine what it must be like for an older gentleman.
You know, I'm happy he's willing to do this in general. But honestly, I don't know anybody else who's even like up for the task, really.
And Katie, walk us through what the implications might be for Canada.
Biden's speech had the kind of language that sends shivers down spines in Ottawa. He was speaking with union workers and talked about his push for Buy American programs and American labor. This is something that he campaigns on and is very serious about implementing. There are a lot of jobs in Canada that depend on U.S. supply chains, so that is going to be an ongoing, continuing concern. But Prime Minister Justin Trudeau welcomed Biden's re-election announcement, and one does wonder if he would offer the same public message to Donald Trump. Ian.
Okay, Katie, thank you. A civil trial involving Donald Trump is now underway in New York City. A former magazine columnist is suing Trump for unspecified damages, claiming he raped her in a Manhattan department store in the mid-90s. Trump denies the allegations, claims the two have never met. Jurors heard opening statements today. A fragile ceasefire in Sudan appears to be holding as a growing list of countries manage to get their citizens, as well as some Canadians, out. As Evan Dyer shows us, the timing of Canada's own rescue effort remains uncertain.
Desperation is deepening in Khartoum.
We know that families that we've spoken to in Khartoum have not moved out of their house since the last 8 days.
That's certainly the case for Sophia Mustafa of St. Catharines, Ontario, on Tootie Island, Khartoum.
I'm just kind of stuck here. We just hear what's going on, like, around, like, yeah, over the air and the bombing and the shelling.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Canada is still negotiating direct access to Khartoum.
There's discussions around with the different countries on who gets the land when, who gets to do the airlift work quickly.
The government says about 100 Canadians have been evacuated by a mix of German, French, Dutch, Saudi and Emirati aircraft and ships. Hundreds more remain.
Of the 1,700 people that have been contacted, 550 have asked for assistance.
But it's not clear what the government means by contacted.
It was like generic emails that I was receiving until my cousins basically started calling the emergency line in Ottawa on my behalf.
And Mustafa says other countries have been helping only Canadian passport holders get out.
Because I'm with my grandma, who does not have Canadian citizenship, I basically have to make a choice, either go with myself and my mother and leave my grandma behind, which is not possible. It's not really a choice.
Mustafa is waiting for a Canadian-led evacuation.
They were saying that dependents would be allowed to join, and my grandmother is a dependent of both me and my mother. And it's just kind of sad that Canada hasn't done that yet.
We have assets in the region.
One asset on the scene is the Canadian frigate Montreal, now in the Red Sea after diverting on its way to a sanctions enforcement mission off North Korea. But the coast is 800 kilometers from Khartoum on roads that are full of danger. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Tonight, we have exclusive details on a major lawsuit lodged against Canada's military after a member of the armed forces was acquitted of sexual assault. As Ashley Burke tells us, it's the second suit of its kind this year.
Dear Sirs, this is one of the letters Diane Savage sent to top military leaders. She says her husband spent time in jail for something he didn't do.
The military has done nothing to apologize or correct the wrongdoing.
Sergeant Ormond Savage is a serving member in the reserve force. He can't speak out against the military, so his wife is.
A horrible investigation that happened for my husband. If that had been done correctly, I think the outcome would have been totally different at the first trial.
That allegation now at the center of an $11 million lawsuit. It alleges the military's handling of Savage's case was vindictive, reprehensible, and malicious.
They didn't hear him out. They didn't listen to his side of the story.
He should have to pay for what he did.
This woman testified she was raped by Savage in 2004 at an Edmonton armory. She was a student at the time. He was an instructor.
The military failed to investigate witnesses. They failed to seal off the area where the assault was alleged to have occurred.
A judge ruled that Savage was guilty and sentenced him to 3 years in prison. That decision was overturned on appeal. Then a jury acquitted him during retrial.
All I can say is I'm glad to see that this nightmare is over.
His wife says after years of requests went nowhere, they're reviving a lawsuit, looking to cover their legal fees, back pay, and damages.
Why do we have to fight so hard for this? It's frustrating, right? It's upsetting.
This is the second lawsuit the military is facing this year, alleging a negligent investigation. Major General Danny Fortin is suing for $6 million after being acquitted of sexual assault. Some now question if this is the start of a trend in Canada and warn it could have chilling effects on victims.
Victims may not come forward because they're afraid of a countersuit, and also that the defense forces may handle investigations with more hesitation.
And actually, it's not just Canada's military seeing these kinds of lawsuits.
Yeah, Ian, that professor Megan McKenzie said it's a trend that she's seen play out in the United States, where military members are not only suing institutions, but the alleged victims too, to try and restore the reputation or cover their legal fees. In Savage's case, his lawyer says they want to hold the military accountable. The Defense Department said it couldn't comment while the litigation is ongoing.
Thanks, Ashley. Striking federal workers are living up to their promise, creating disruptions as job action and negotiations enter a seventh day.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! Union barracks, follow the goal!
Well, this was the scene on the Portage Bridge this morning, a key route between Ottawa and Gatineau. Hundreds of people marched across, blocking lanes and holding up traffic on their way to another picket line. Those workers are among more than 100,000 public service employees who walked off the job across the country last week. And as Nisha Patel tells us, their push for higher wages has others watching closely.
The last strike of this size was more than 20 years ago.
We just want something that's fair.
Nobody strikes for fun.
The biggest sticking point is pay. The union saying their wages haven't kept up with the cost of living.
We're asking for less than the rate of inflation.
The Treasury Board says it's offering a wage bump of 9% over 3 years. The union says it's asking for 13.5% for the same period.
My grocery bill goes up. I have the 2019 amount of money to pay for it.
Crofton Steers has worked for the federal government since 2005. This is his first strike. With a young family to raise, he's feeling stretched.
We're not looking for a big increase in salary, we're just looking to keep pace.
It's a sentiment echoed by workers of all stripes, frustrated by months of red-hot inflation.
Unpaid work won't fly.
Other labor disputes could be brewing, placing issues of pay front and center. Today at airports across the country, flight attendants rallied.
We are no longer interested in not being paid for the work that we do.
Better pay? Are you listening?
Nurses, too, are demanding better contracts and are planning a day of action this weekend in Ontario.
High inflation for a persistent amount of time has meant that workers have fallen backwards, and they're rediscovering the right to strike to get ahead.
This labor professor says the tight labor market works in the union's favor. And the outcome of the federal workers' strike could spark similar demands across the public and private sectors.
Whenever a union has a win at the bargaining table, that's contagious.
So all eyes are on these negotiations. Many economists say a wave of higher wage settlements could slow the fight against inflation, though there's been no sign of that just yet. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
There is hope 3 new medical schools will help ease Canada's chronic doctor shortage. They're expected to open within 2 years with the goal of placing new doctors directly into underserviced communities. But as Karen Paul shows us, that comes with its own challenges.
Sophie McDonald hopes to get into medical school, ideally the new one being built at the University of Prince Edward Island.
I am hoping to become a family physician. I am really attracted to the longevity of care that they provide, and there is a huge need for family physicians on PEI, so I'd like to help fill that need.
So we're looking at a very exciting site, our groundwork for our new medical school.
The first class of 20 students will start in the fall of 2025.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for PEI to build a better future for healthcare. We're looking 7 to 10 years down the road before we really see the impact of it. But I think when we look back, we'll be very glad we made the decision to do what we did in 2023.
Here and at the other new medical schools at Simon Fraser and Toronto Metropolitan Universities, there's a move to have students do more of their learning outside of the big teaching hospitals. The hope is if they do more training in community clinics, they'll stay to work there.
A new approach of integrated health clinics, where we can also tap to people who are working within the community to train the next generation of medical doctors.
We're working together to prepare the way for the SFU Medical School.
Simon Fraser's interim dean is telling the Surrey business community how medical schools are shifting to a community-based, socially accountable, fit-for-purpose training model.
The curriculum walks through the door. The first patient might be a child, that's pediatrics. The next patient might be pregnant, that's obstetrics. The next patient might have a surgical problem, but they're learning their core clinical medicine from the community family practice perspective.
Perfect, thanks. But there are concerns many community-based doctors are too busy to take on the added responsibility of teaching.
Really the crux of burnout for physicians is trying to do everything. So we do have to be very careful when we roll out a medical school that we're not impacting the health care of the patients that we already have.
For now, Sophie McDonald keeps cramming.
I have an exam tomorrow. It's time to hit the books.
Working towards her dream of becoming a family doctor. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Charlottetown.
The four faces of NASA's next mission to the moon spent time in Ottawa tonight, meeting with some of the young minds, hoping to follow in their footsteps. And as Tom Perry shows us, they also got some FaceTime with the Prime Minister.
3, 2, 1.
They're set to blast off into deep space next year. But first, the crew of NASA's Artemis II mission touched down in Ottawa.
Mission specialist, Canadian Jeremy Hansen.
Canada's Jeremy Hansen and his 3 American crewmates received a hero's welcome on Parliament Hill. Then later met with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, showing off some of the Canadian space technology that earned this country a seat on this historic mission.
And the fact that we get to start this, do this together as this first step back to the moon, knowing that there will be so many more steps to come that we're going to remain steadfast on.
This mission will send Hansen as far from home as any Canadian has ever been.
I mean, I'm excited. For me personally, I've dreamt of this my whole life. I'm going to see the Earth from the perspective of the moon, and I just feel like I'm the luckiest human alive to get to go do this.
When Artemis II launches, it will hurl the crew and their Orion spacecraft beyond Earth's orbit and onward to the moon, the closest humans have come to the lunar surface in more than half a century. Artemis II won't land there, but it's hoped future missions will.
So getting comfortable operating in deep space around the moon as we set our sights on Mars, you will inspire just by doing great things like that, and that's our hope.
This team coming together in real time under a media spotlight.
I absolutely know that with this crew, we have already formed a bond of trust that will serve us well and hopefully serve the mission well.
Aware of the challenges ahead, knowing the hard work is just beginning.
Learning this complicated, complex system, and then our role in executing the mission in that system, and that's going to begin. And they say it's about 18 months of training, and the launch will be when the vehicle and the crew and the ground team are ready.
Ready to take that next giant leap, back to the moon, and eventually beyond. Tom Perry, CBC News, Ottawa.
A Japanese company's attempt to land an uncrewed spacecraft on the moon appears to have failed tonight.
At this moment, we have not able to confirm successful landing on the lunar surface.
Employees watched anxiously in the control room in Tokyo as they lost communication with the lander just before touchdown. The spacecraft launched last December. iSpace hoped to become the first private company to land on the moon. People around the world are remembering actor and singer Harry Belafonte tonight, a man who brought the sounds of the Caribbean to a global audience and devoted his life to civil rights. Deanna Sumanag Johnson shows us how he's still inspiring.
With his striking voice, powerful in song, Harry Belafonte was a natural on stage. An international superstar, bringing Caribbean music to the world.
6 and 7 and 8 and bunch.
And he made his mark on the big screen in movies like Carmen Jones. But soon his desire for fame took a back seat to a growing frustration with racial inequality. Belafonte rejected film roles that he felt were stereotypical for black actors and told the CBC how his passion for civil rights informed his artistic life.
I do not find it easy to divorce myself from my personal beliefs and the beliefs that I carry over into my work.
At times, there was a price to pay for his activism.
I don't want no sugar in my coffee.
His 1959 variety special, Tonight with Belafonte, won an Emmy and got big ratings. But it also caused controversy because black and white performers were on stage together, and subsequent episodes were canceled when its sponsor pulled out.
To me, to have that kind of devotion
towards that cause. It empowers me, to know that someone's done that in order for me to be where I am.
As the years passed, Belafonte's commitment to human rights stayed strong. Canadian filmmaker Clement Virgo remembers meeting him in Jamaica, where Belafonte's mother was from.
It was remarkable. You took the opportunity to because the cameras were there, to highlight and spotlight what was going on within the community. So it wasn't a self-centered moment.
As recently as 2016, Belafonte was warning Americans against the divisive politics of Donald Trump, using that remarkable voice to not only entertain, but fight for what he believed in. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Newly released court documents are fueling allegations of a secret deal between Prince William and the British tabloids.
It perhaps gives credence to the idea that the royal family have a very close relationship with the newspapers.
What Prince Harry claims really happened behind the scenes. Next. And a frightening sight for Toronto commuters. The subway tunnel blast and the wall of flames. That's next. And a little later, from a refugee camp in Kenya, dreams of a future in Canada.
How long have you lived here?
14 years.
In the same place?
In this place, yeah.
For a long time.
How some healthcare workers could fill the need in a Nova Scotia community. We're back in 2. Well, this is a scene on Toronto's subway system this morning. Riders capturing the moments after a fire broke out that stopped service for hours today. The Toronto Transit Commission says it's still investigating the cause of what appears to be an electrical fire. The subway is back up and running tonight. Prince Harry claims there was a secret deal between his brother, Prince William, and the publisher of the very newspapers Harry is now taking to court. Thomas Dagala takes us through what was revealed in newly released court documents.
For years, Prince William apparently kept it a secret. But in 2020, it seems he received a big payout by Rupert Murdoch's British tabloids over claims they hacked his phone. It's just one of the accusations made by Prince Harry as he pursues legal action against Murdoch's newspaper company, he says with the blessing of his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth.
It's hard to confirm or deny what was said in that conversation if one of the parties is no longer with us.
After evidence emerged of routine phone hacking at Murdoch's News of the World tabloid, the company spent hundreds of millions settling claims out of court. The paper shuttered, but former editor Rebecca Brooks later returned as Murdoch's top executive. Harry used strong language to describe Brooks in his audiobook Spare.
Everyone who knew her was in full agreement that she was an infected pustule on the arse of humanity.
Despite it all, Harry told the court he later learned his family had agreed to delay any legal action against Murdoch's papers in exchange for the promise of an apology.
It perhaps gives credence to the idea that the royal family have a very close relationship with the newspapers and that there is an exchange of goodwill there.
The secret deal came after Harry says his family was left shaken in the 90s when tabloids published private conversations between his father Charles and his then mistress Camilla.
Wish you would answer the phone.
An infamous incident reenacted in the Netflix series The Crown.
I'm in the bedroom.
In bed?
On top of it.
Lucky old bed.
Harry is pursuing at least 3 separate court cases against British newspapers, the latest chapter in his attempts to go after the tabloids that he says have targeted him unethically since he was a child. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
In Peru, archaeologists have discovered a mummy believed to be over 1,000 years old. Scientists say the body was likely an adolescent, preserved so well that some of the hair and skin are still intact. At the same site last year, archaeologists unearthed the remains of several children and adults believed to have been sacrificed centuries ago. In the wake of last fall's brutal stabbing rampage in James Smith Cree Nation, donations poured into the Saskatchewan community, but some say they still aren't getting the support they need.
We feel ignored, don't feel important to our chief and council.
Coming up, Olivia Stefanovic speaks to some survivors, questioning what's being done with hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations. A Nova Scotia community looking to another continent to help solve its healthcare shortages.
What do you think?
Very good.
Kayla Hounsel visits a Kenyan refugee camp and the workers hoping to start a new life in Canada. The National takes you deeper into the stories shaping our world. Next. It's been nearly 8 months since a stabbing rampage by one man changed so many lives in James Smith Cree Nation. Since then, more than $600,000 have been donated to the community, but a lot of that money has sat untouched. All of this, as some survivors say, they're not getting the help they need and they want answers. Tonight, Olivia Stefanovic takes us back to the community for an exclusive look at the issues that are being faced and what's being done to fix them.
There's no escaping the grief. Earl Burns Sr. died protecting his family during the worst mass stabbing in Canadian history. His father, now left behind, gives a final salute to his son, a veteran who would have turned 67 years old.
Celebrating my dad's first birthday without him. I just didn't want it to be a sad day for us because we celebrated his birthdays with him every year. I'm gonna cut him a sandwich right now.
Deborah Burns organized this round dance for her dad, one of 11 people whose lives were cut short last September in James Smith Cree Nation. They have each other, but many here say they're facing the aftermath alone.
We feel ignored, don't feel important to our chief and council because they refuse to talk with us, or even refusing band meetings.
She says her family hasn't received much support, despite more than $500,000 sent to the Saskatchewan community in donations.
It'd be really nice for them to come and see us on a daily and see what we're actually going through. Yeah, it would just be really nice to be acknowledged instead of feeling like we're being used.
An outpouring of sympathy followed the tragedy. Corporations and private citizens sent James Smith more than $600,000. Over $125,000 raised through a GoFundMe campaign. Money that some community members want answers on how it's being used.
We have never seen paper on who donated what they spent the donations on, who got what. We have no clue. They get delivered into our community.
Daryl Burns lost his sister Gloria in the attacks. He says the band paid for her funeral service and gave his family gift cards and checks to get by the first few months. But he doesn't know what's happening with the rest of the donations, and he wants to be consulted.
Our chief runs under a cloak of secrecy. It's frustrating. And there's a lot of people in our community that are questioning all this stuff right now.
For mental health and...
Chief Wally Burns of James Smith Cree Nation says he's not hiding anything. He says leadership is grappling with how to spend all the donations it's received.
How do you make sure that all the family members of the deceased and the injured are supported equally?
I thought we were making all efforts work in regards to helping out to everybody that's reaching out.
He says James Smith went into debt after the massacre. It spent more than $3.5 million on hotels, travel, and funerals.
And just going back to
We don't have no resources to help other programs.
because you had to pull money from different programs.
So that's not right.
He says that left the community with tough choices. It used $200,000 from corporate and public donations to reimburse those costs. $300,000 worth of donations remain in the band's coffers, with no plans on how to use the money yet.
This is all new to us. We never asked for this kind of event to happen in our community. So how can we spread that out evenly is a good question. Like, it deals with mental health, it deals with all the trauma. Like, even me, for instance, like, I never asked for any help.
Come, look, come and see.
But others do need help.
I have 5 in the neck here, and I have 1 in the arm and 1 under here.
Haley Sanderson was stabbed 7 times by Miles Sanderson, no relation, who also attacked her husband, killed her dad, and her dad's girlfriend.
I blamed myself for a long time, that I couldn't help my dad more.
After the rampage was over, she tried to return to work, but it was overwhelming.
I used to be very social and outgoing and everything, but I just can't be around people anymore.
She doesn't know what she's going to do to support her family.
I wasn't one to ask for help, and sometimes I'd have to get my mom to buy us groceries, and my bills all piled up. And
the more than $125,000 raised in the GoFundMe campaign, created by former Conservative MP Rob Clark on behalf of James Smith, are all sitting in a trust account run by the chief's lawyer, Robert Karras.
These funds were not donated for the purpose of helping families meet and make ends meet. It was donated for the purpose of making sure that people are getting the counseling, mental health, emotional, spiritual counseling that they need.
He says the plan is to transfer the money to James Smith's health clinic, but only after it signs an agreement with the band in writing.
If the funds cannot, for some reason, be applied in a way consistent with the purpose of the donations, then the goal will absolutely be to provide those funds back to the donors through GoFundMe. We would have to send that money back to GoFundMe and have them reimburse everybody.
Daryl Burns hopes it doesn't come to that.
I gotta look at them first. This one is lady.
He says it's up to the community to make sure the donations make a difference in honor of the 11 lives lost, 17 injured, and all those still recovering.
I feel like we're tasked with doing right with that money. It's up to us to show the way for the rest of Canada, because if we fail, the next community may not get that opportunity. You know, if this sort of thing happens in another community, like, they're going to say, well, look at James Smith. We gave him all that money and they failed. You know, so we have that responsibility to do right, not only for our people, but for the rest of the native country across Canada.
Olivia, how's the band responding to the threat of losing this money?
Well, Ian, the GoFundMe donations might be released soon. The chief's lawyer, Robert Karras, says he's just waiting for banking information before he moves the money to James Smith's health clinic. And as for those requests for a band meeting, well, Chief Wally Burns says he wants to hold one in the spring, but a date hasn't been scheduled yet.
And community members are expecting another update this week. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the RCMP is meeting with families of the deceased and survivors tomorrow. Investigators are expected to provide an update, a timeline of the attacks, and then release this information to the public on Thursday. And while these details are preliminary, Ian, they are expected to take the RCMP 4 hours to release.
Thanks, Olivia.
You're You're welcome.
As Canada faces a shortage of healthcare workers, a Nova Scotia community is looking at creative solutions to fill the need.
Places like Kakuma have the people and the skills that we need.
Coming up, Kayla Housel takes us to Kenya and a refugee camp where workers are waiting for the chance to come to Canada. Canada's shortage of healthcare workers is stark. Entire communities are searching for doctors, nurses, and personal care workers. To try to alleviate the crisis, the federal government is going to great lengths. A pilot program is being used to fill the need in places like Mahone Bay on Nova Scotia's South Shore by offering the jobs to refugees all the way in Kakuma, Kenya. And they're needed immediately. Kayla Housel recently visited them in Kenya, where years after being selected by the program, those workers are still waiting for the green light.
Patricia Kamsor has seen it all. She's a healthcare worker. So is Abdi Fattah Sabreya. They're also refugees, and they've been invited to come work in Canada, among around 120 refugees who have been offered jobs as continuing care assistants in Nova Scotia.
It is a dream come true.
They live in the UN's Kakuma refugee camp in northwestern Kenya, home to more than 260,000 people who have fled violence in neighboring African countries.
How long have you lived here?
14 years.
In the same place?
In this place, yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time.
When he was a teen, he fled Somalia with his mother, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers, after their father and eldest brother were killed in the Civil War.
My dad at that time, he was someone who need emergency medical, and he didn't get it through it, as well as my brother. Yeah, that motivated me to become a healthcare worker.
Patricia Kamsor came here without her family, separated when violence erupted while she was at boarding school in her home country, Sudan.
I was young, but I was strong, really strong. I had to think why I had to protect myself, even if I've not got my family.
So you don't know where they are?
You can't get connection. I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Do you know if they're alive?
I even don't know because I didn't go connect with anyone.
It's been 11 years, and she's been working in healthcare most of that time.
And I like helping people. Actually, I have that heart of helping people.
Kamsor and Sabreya are set to work at a brand new nursing home in Mahone Bay on the province's South Shore. Population just over 1,000. I gave Sabreya his first glimpse of a blustery Canada.
It's winter. Very snow.
What do you think?
Very good.
You think that looks good?
Yeah. I've never seen it.
The jobs are possible under a new federal program that has taken off in Nova Scotia.
Hi, Suzanne.
We contacted Suzanne Lee to find out why. She's one of the people tasked with finding creative ways to solve the province's shortage of healthcare workers. And she was part of a provincial recruitment team that traveled to Kakuma last fall.
Reality is we need healthcare professionals, and places like Kakuma have the people and the skills that we need.
Some people might be worried that we're somehow taking away from people here, that this is contributing to the so-called brain drain or the poaching of healthcare workers. What would you say to people who have those concerns?
Look, great question. And one of the things we're always thinking about as we're recruiting healthcare professionals is how are we doing it ethically, right? And because of their circumstances, they don't have the opportunities that other folks in their host country may have.
Most of the people who have been selected to come to Nova Scotia got their experience in healthcare here in the refugee camp at clinics run by the International Rescue Committee. So let's go see what they do here.
Kamsor is here 6 days a week. She makes roughly 135 Canadian dollars a month. Yes, just over $100 a month. But it helps buy extra food when the distributions from the World Food Program run out. In Nova Scotia, she'll make around $3,000 a month, Part of what makes this program unique is that people will arrive in Canada as permanent residents, not as refugees and not on temporary work permits. They have to meet the same criteria as traditional economic immigrants. That means demonstrating their experience in healthcare and a proficiency in English.
My word is to assure the Canadian that the people that they are recruiting from a Kakuma refugee camp, they are people who have really qualified.
Michael Ikuru is responsible for training here. He also says he's not worried about losing staff because he has a lineup of others waiting.
So we are very grateful that you are coming and picking. What I can even ask is to take many of them so that we also have an opportunity to train.
For Sabrea, it's already been a long time since he got that email saying he was in.
I was very pleased at that moment. Yeah, getting this opportunity which changes my life. Going to a country like Canada, which I used to dream it. Yeah, that moment I was like I was going tomorrow.
He laughs at the memory, but the reality has been difficult.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. The program was very long. We have to go step by step.
Kamsor has also met all of the requirements.
What do you know right now about when you get to go?
I actually don't know when I will actually go.
They haven't told you anything?
They have not told us anything. We're still waiting.
Nova Scotia blames the pandemic for part of the delay and the fact it's a brand new program. The federal government says it is committed to processing most permanent residency applications linked to this program within 6 months. That time is already up for Sabrea and will be for Kamsor in 5 days.
Do you believe that you will really get to go?
Actually, I can't predict it because though I believe that with the long process I've gone through, it may happen.
You don't sound sure.
I'm not sure because, there's nothing that will make me believe it all or know that I will go. Something may come up again.
But they are patient. They have, after all, spent half their lives waiting for the days to pass, waiting for a chance, a path to a new life.
And Kayla's back in Nova Scotia now. Kayla, what's happening next with this program?
Well, Ian, Canada is planning to expand the program to other sectors where there are shortages and across the country. There's also an awareness campaign to make sure the provinces and employers know about it because the federal government has a goal to resettle 2,000 people this way over the next few years. But remember, as people like Patricia and Abdi keep waiting, as patient and grateful as they are, Canada has a desperate need for them to get here and start working.
Thanks, Kayla.
I would never even think that you could turn somebody away. That didn't even cross my mind.
Stranded by a winter storm, a busload of students find shelter in a small Saskatchewan community. In our moment. These are band students from Springfield Collegiate in Oakbank, Manitoba, but it's not their usual classroom. On their way home from a music festival in Edmonton last week, a snowstorm forced them to find shelter. Now, luckily, the town of Craig, Saskatchewan welcomed them with open arms. A big dose of small town hospitality is our moment.
The willingness to take on our students and our staff as her own was nothing short of miraculous.
So myself, 4 chaperones, and 47 band students were returning from the Contando Festival in Edmonton, Alberta. But before too long, discovered that we weren't going to be able to travel on those roads. So we managed to pull the bus over into a small town named Craig.
I Googled school in Craig, Saskatchewan, and called the number.
She asked if we would have room to take 47 kids in, and I said, absolutely, bring them on in.
The whole community of Craig, which is really only about 430 people, responded so rapidly.
Everybody was just, I've got blankets, I've got pillows.
We managed to get the students fed. We had the girls sleeping in the gym and the guys were sleeping in the library. We had our students working with some of their younger students on math and in English. Some of them did instrument demos, and they put on a fabulous little concert.
We hardly walked anywhere without a student thanking us 100 times over.
Our hearts, our gratitude go out to Charla, her school, her students, her staff, and the whole town of Craig.
It's just a beautiful thing. And imagine, you know, you're in the middle of a town, it's snowing like that, and I don't know if it would occur to me to call the local school and get them to help out. Not surprisingly, there's real kinship now between those two schools and two communities. A lot of the students, from what I understand, still staying in touch. And as our producer Andrew pointed out this morning, it was a come from away moment. And, you know, just a really nice moment as well. That is the National for April 25th. Have a good night.